That ordinary-looking wheat penny in your collection might be worth a fortune. Some rare wheat pennies have sold for thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars at auctions. But how can you tell if you have one of these hidden treasures? Today, we're diving into 6 of the rarest and most valuable wheat pennies, and one of them could be sitting in your pocket right now. Do you have any old wheat pennies? Let me know in the comments. Number 1. The 1950 wheat penny, a simple coin? Think again. This 1-cent piece holds secrets that could make collectors go wild. Some versions of this penny have sold for an unbelievable amount, more than most would ever expect for a single cent. But what makes it so special? Could you have one of these rare finds hiding in your collection, or maybe even in your pocket change? Stick around, because today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1950 wheat penny, its key features, rare errors, and what makes it so valuable. Let's start with the basics. The 1950 Lincoln wheat penny was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, with no mint mark for Philadelphia, a D for Denver, and an S for San Francisco. While it might seem like an ordinary penny, collectors know that certain versions of this coin are anything but common. These coins still feature the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse, a design that ran from 1909 to 1958 before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. So, what makes this penny valuable? Condition is key. A well-preserved 1950 wheat penny in high-grade condition can be worth serious money. But the real treasures lie in the rare errors and varieties that few people notice. One of the most well-known errors is the double die obverse, where letters and numbers appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment in the striking process. Another rare find is an off-center strike, where the design is misaligned, creating a noticeable blank space on the coin. And then there's the elusive clipped planchet error, where a small portion of the coin is missing due to a flaw in the minting process. One of the most fascinating varieties is the 1950 S repunched mint mark. This occurs when the S mint mark was struck more than once, sometimes at a slightly different angle. Under magnification, this error is unmistakable and adds to the coin's rarity. Another variety that collectors search for is the 1950 D over S, where traces of an S mint mark appear underneath the D, a result of a transition error at the Denver Mint. Now, let's talk about value. While a regular 1950 wheat penny might only be worth a few cents, these rare varieties and high-grade specimens have commanded jaw-dropping prices. Some have sold for $15,200, while the rarest, highest-graded examples have reached $68,000 and even more at auction. Here's the real question. Do you have one of these valuable pennies in your collection? Have you ever found a rare error coin in your pocket change? Let me know in the comments. Every great collection starts with one discovery, and who knows, the next big find could be yours. Number 2. The 1944 D wheat penny, just another old coin? Not quite. This 1-cent piece has left collectors stunned with its hidden value. A small detail, an unnoticed error, or a rare variety could turn this simple penny into a fortune. Some versions of this coin have sold for mind-blowing amounts, and today, we're diving deep into why. Could you have one of these rare 1944 D pennies in your collection without even realizing it? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. Let's start with the basics. The 1944 D Lincoln wheat penny was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark just below the year on the obverse. At first glance, it looks just like any other wheat penny, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front and the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse, a design that had been in use since 1909. But here's where things get interesting. World War II had just ended, and the U.S. Mint was shifting back to using copper for pennies after experimenting with steel cents in 1943. However, not all coins were struck perfectly, and some fascinating errors and varieties were created in the process. These rare mistakes are what makes certain 1944 D pennies incredibly valuable. One of the most sought-after errors is the 1944 D/S variety, where traces of an S mint mark can be seen underneath the D. This happened due to a transition error when a mint mark punch intended for the San Francisco Mint was mistakenly used in Denver. Under magnification, You can clearly see the overlapping marks, making this coin highly desirable. Another rare error is the double die obverse, where the date, lettering, or Lincoln's portrait appears slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the striking process. This type of error is a favorite among collectors because it's easy to spot with the naked eye. But that's not all. Off-center strikes, where the coin's design is shifted due to misalignment, and clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin is missing from improper cutting, are also valuable varieties of the 1944 D penny. So, how much is this penny worth? A regular 1944 D wheat penny in circulated condition might only fetch a small premium, but those with rare errors and high-grade conditions have shocked the coin world. Some of these rare finds have sold for $62,900, while the most pristine examples with rare varieties have reached $125,000 and more at auction. Here's the big question: have you ever come across an unusual penny in your pocket change? Have you checked your old coin collections for any rare varieties? Let me know in the comments. Every great collection starts with one discovery, and who knows, the next valuable penny could be waiting for you to find it. Number 3. The 1945 Wheat Penny, just another old cent? Not even close. This humble coin may look ordinary, but hidden among them are rare varieties and errors that can turn a simple penny into a collector's dream. Some of these coins have sold for jaw-dropping amounts, and today, we're uncovering the secrets behind their astonishing value. Could you have a rare 1945 penny in your collection without even knowing it? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. Let's begin with the basics. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at 3 U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, which had no mint mark, Denver, marked with a small D, and San Francisco, identified by an S below the date. It carries the classic Lincoln portrait on the obverse and the signature wheat stalks on the reverse, a design that had been in use since 1909. But despite being minted in large numbers, not all 1945 pennies are the same. Some are far more valuable than others. Why? The answer lies in condition, minting errors, and rare varieties. A well-preserved 1945 penny in near-perfect condition can be worth a significant sum. But the real treasures are those that feature rare mistakes made during the striking process. One of the most famous errors to look for is the double die obverse. In this variety, elements like the date, lettering, or even Lincoln's portrait appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment in the die. These errors are sought after by collectors and can dramatically increase a penny's value. Another rare find is the 1945 S repunched mint mark, RPM. This happens when the S mint mark was struck more than once, sometimes at a slightly different angle. Under magnification, this variety is unmistakable and highly desirable. But that's not all. The off-center strike is another valuable error to watch for. When a coin is struck improperly, and its design appears shifted with a blank area on one side, it becomes a rarity. The more off-center the strike, the higher the potential value. Then there's the clipped planchet error, where a portion of the penny is missing due to an imperfectly cut blank before striking. Collectors love these odd-shaped coins, and they can command a premium price. So, how much is the 1945 wheat penny worth? While a standard version might not seem too exciting, rare error coins and high-grade examples have sold for impressive amounts. Some of the most valuable finds have reached $20,400, while the highest graded and rarest varieties have crossed $90,000 and even more at auction. Here's a question for you. Have you ever found an unusual or rare penny in your pocket change? Have you checked your collection for any of these rare varieties? Let me know in the comments. Every great collector starts with one discovery, and who knows, the next big find could be waiting for you. Number 4. The 1954 D wheat penny. An ordinary coin? Not quite. This 1-cent piece might be hiding a fortune in plain sight. A small detail, an unnoticed error, or a rare variety could make this humble penny worth thousands. Some have sold for jaw-dropping amounts, and today, we're uncovering exactly what makes certain 1954 D wheat pennies so valuable. Could you have one in your collection without realizing it? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. Let's start with the basics. The 1954 D Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark just below the date. Like all wheat pennies, it features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse, a design that had been in use since 1909. While this coin may seem common, certain rare varieties and errors have made some of them incredibly valuable to collectors. What makes this penny worth money? First, condition matters. A regular 1954 D wheat penny in circulated condition is worth a small premium, but in mint state grades with original luster, its value increases significantly. However, what really excites collectors are the rare errors and varieties. One of the most sought-after errors is the repunched mint mark, RPM. This happens when the D mint mark was stamped more than once, creating overlapping impressions. Under magnification, you can see the doubling of the mint mark, making this variety highly desirable. Another valuable error is the doubled die obverse. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice in slightly different positions, causing a noticeable doubling effect on the date, lettering, or Lincoln's portrait. This type of error is highly collectible and can bring in big money at auctions. Then, there's the off-center strike error. If a coin was not properly aligned during striking, the design can appear shifted, with some parts missing. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin. A particularly rare variety to watch for is the BIE die break. This occurs when a small vertical die crack appears between the letters B and E in Liberty, creating what looks like an extra letter, I. Collectors love these unique errors, and they can add significant value to the coin. Now, how much is the 1954 D wheat penny really worth? While a typical circulated penny might not seem special, those with rare errors and in pristine condition have shocked the numismatic world. Some of these rare finds have sold for $14,200, while the most pristine examples with rare varieties have reached $62,000 and more at auction. Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever come across a wheat penny in your pocket change? Have you checked your old coin collection for rare varieties? Let me know in the comments. Every rare penny started as just another coin until someone discovered its hidden value. Could you be the next lucky collector? Number 5. The 1953 wheat penny, just another old coin? Think again. This 1-cent piece has surprised collectors with its hidden value, and today, we're diving into why certain 1953 pennies are worth far more than face value. A small error, a rare variety, or even the right condition could make this coin extremely valuable. Could you have one of these rare pennies in your collection without even knowing it? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted in 3 locations: the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, the Denver Mint, marked with a D, and the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S. Like all wheat pennies, it features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse. This design, first introduced in 1909, remained in circulation until 1958, making these coins a nostalgic part of American history. Now, what makes the 1953 penny valuable? First, let's talk about condition. A circulated 1953 penny may only be worth a few cents, but if you find one in mint state condition with its original red luster, its value can skyrocket. However, what really excites collectors are the rare errors and varieties. One of the most sought-after varieties is the doubled die obverse. This error happens when the coin's design is imprinted twice, slightly misaligned, creating a doubling effect on the date, lettering, or Lincoln's portrait. These coins are rare and highly desirable among collectors. Another important variety to watch for is the repunched mint mark, RPM. This occurs when the mint mark, either D or S, was stamped multiple times in slightly different positions. Under magnification, you may notice overlapping impressions, making this error extremely collectible. Then, there's the off-center strike error. This happens when a coin is struck incorrectly, causing the design to be shifted, sometimes leaving part of the coin blank. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. A particularly rare and fascinating error is the die break. This happens when a small vertical crack appears between the letters B and E in Liberty, forming what looks like an extra I. These unique die breaks make the coin stand out and add to its value. So, how much is the 1953 wheat penny really worth? While a regular circulated penny may not seem special, those with rare errors and in high-grade conditions have sold for incredible prices. Some of these rare finds have reached $18,000, while the most pristine examples with rare varieties have been auctioned for $65,000 and more. Here's the big question. Have you ever checked your old pennies for rare varieties? Have you found an unusual wheat penny in your pocket change? Let me know in the comments. The next valuable coin could be sitting in your collection right now, just waiting to be discovered. Number 6. The 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny. Could this simple 1-cent coin hiding in your collection be worth a fortune? It may look like just another old penny, but some of these coins have sold for thousands of dollars due to rare errors, unique varieties, and exceptional condition. Today, we're uncovering the secrets behind the 1949 wheat penny and what makes certain ones incredibly valuable. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your own pocket change. Let's start with the basics. The 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, No mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. The design, created by Victor D. Brenner, features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic wheat stalks on the reverse. This design was used from 1909 to 1958, making wheat pennies a favorite among collectors. Now, why is the 1949 penny valuable? Like most wheat pennies, its worth depends on rarity, condition, and special mint errors. While a regular 1949 penny in worn condition may only be worth face value, finding one in uncirculated, mint state condition can change everything. Collectors especially seek out coins with full red luster. These are pennies that have retained their original copper shine without darkening over time, but the real excitement comes from errors and rare varieties. One of the most valuable is the double die obverse, DDO. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile. These errors are highly sought after and can command impressive prices. Another rare variety is the repunched mint mark, RPM. This happens when the mint mark, whether D for Denver or S for San Francisco, was stamped multiple times in slightly different positions. Under magnification, you might see a shadow or doubling effect, making these coins highly collectible. Off-center strikes are another key error to watch for. If a coin is struck incorrectly and the design appears shifted, leaving a portion of the coin blank, it becomes more valuable. The more off-center the strike, the rarer the coin becomes, especially if the date is still fully visible. One fascinating error found on 1949 wheat pennies is the die break. This small vertical die crack appears between the letters B and E in Liberty, creating what looks like an extra I. These errors are fun to find and increase the coin's desirability. So, how much is the 1949 wheat penny really worth? While a common example in circulated condition may not seem too special, those in mint state condition or with rare errors have reached astonishing prices. Some have sold for $12,000, while the highest graded and rarest varieties have fetched $67,000 and more at auctions. Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever found a wheat penny with a strange mark or doubling on the date? Have you checked your old coin jar for a 1949 penny that could be worth a fortune? Let me know in the comments. You might be sitting on a hidden treasure without even realizing it.